Welcome, Chisholm Trail 61. Got a bunch of pickles give to it. A bunch of cucumbers give to us. And what we're going to do today, we're going to make some bread and butter pickles out of them. And I'm going to show you how I do that coming up right now. Okay, as you can see, we've been already chopping up some pickles. And what we do, all we do with the cucumbers is we just cut the ends off, cut both ends off, and discard those. And then we want to cut the cucumbers in slices about 1/4 inch thick. So we're going to do a couple of them on camera here for you just to show you how we do that. Just get you a pretty sharp knife and cut them, and then just throw them in your bowl. And what we want to do, we're going to do one more for you. I just use my finger as a guide, sort of to cut it, because it makes it so much simpler to measure than to try to stop each time and look at where you cut. You can just use your finger for a guide, and then just throw them over in the bowl. And what we've got here, we've already cut up one onion and put it in one bowl. But what you want to do is just cut your onion, cut it in half, and you just want to cut it in thin. Just as thin almost as you can cut it. Just cut the whole slice like this. And then what you want to do, you want to just take and separate the little rings. Just take them apart and mix them in to your cucumbers like that. And whenever you get all those in there, then what you want to do is we're going to add some salt to them. They have to be salted. I'm going to put a few more in this bowl here because there's a lot more in this one. And you want, I got actually about 1 1/4 large onions in this bowl, and I've got about 1/4 of a large onion in that bowl, but I'm just going to do this and show you. We just want to salt them. This is kosher salt. You can use kosher salt, canning, pickling salt, whichever you want to use. Just put a good dose of salt. Now, it really doesn't matter how much salt you use because we're going to have to rinse them off anyway. But put you a good dose of salt on them, and then just sort of mix them up and stir them around. And what we're going to do now is we'll cover these with cling wrap, saran wrap, and we're going to put them in the refrigerator, and we're going to leave them in the refrigerator for 3 hours, and we'll bring you back at that point. Okay, we've had our cucumbers in the refrigerator for about 3 hours, and I think I forgot to tell y'all that when you put them in there, with the salt on them, you need to cover them in water and ice. Put ice and water on enough to cover them, and let them sit in the refrigerator for 3 hours. And we got us a big pot here. We're going to make us our brine for our bread and butter pickles there. And what we got here, we got 4 cups of apple cider vinegar. We got 2 cups of sugar. We got 2 tablespoons of mustard seed, 2 teaspoons of celery seed, 2 teaspoons of turmeric, and we have 2 teaspoons of black peppercorn. Now, this is based on 3 pounds of cucumbers and 1 pound of onions. So what we're going to do, we're going to pour all this in our pot here. Like I said, this just happens to be 32 ounces, exactly 4 cups of apple cider vinegar. So I'm just going to dump the whole thing over in the pot there. Just hold it down low so it don't splash all over me. All right, so that's 4 cups of apple cider vinegar. We got 2 cups of granulated white sugar. And again, we got 2 tablespoons of mustard seed, 2 teaspoons of celery seed, 2 teaspoons of turmeric, and 2 teaspoons of black peppercorn going in. And we're going to take this over to the stove, and we're going to get a spoon stirred up good and bring it to a boil. And whenever it comes to a boil, we'll bring you back at that point. Okay, we got our mixture stirred up here, and you can see it's starting to boil. We're starting to get that rolling ball on it there. Can't stir it down. So when we stir it, it just continues to boil. As you can see there, it's just, we're still getting the bubbles in it, and it's still boiling. So what we want to do now is we want to just turn the burner completely off on it. And we're going to get our cucumbers and onions. And we're going to just slowly dump them in there. We don't want to splash ourselves with it. And we're going to stir them around some. Once we get these stirred around, we get the rest of them put in here. We just need to stir them just to get them coated is all we're doing. And then we're going to get this other batch of them. Oh, I hit the camera there. Sorry, folks. We're going to put those in there. We're going to take our spoon and we're going to stir them right into it. Like I said, all we're trying to do is just get them coated with the liquid mixture. We're stirring them in. And you can see whenever they get coated, they'll start turning colors there. They start getting that sort of a brownish tint, that turmeric. You can see that turmeric get on them. We're just going to continue to stir them till we get them mixed in good. We get them mixed in good, then we're going to move them over to the island there, and we're going to can these up. We're going to put them in jars, and we're going to water bath can these so that we can put them on the shelf there. So we'll bring you back when we get everything moved back over to the island, and we go on with the next step. Okay, we're doing water bath canning today, so as you know by now, if you watch my videos, the water bath can, you have to have the water 1 and 2 inches above the jars. So I always like to set 2 jars up so that I have a place to put my my funnel whenever I get one filled. And I'm using a slotted spoon here to fill this with pickles first, because I don't want to get a bunch of juice in there and not have fill it with cucumbers. I don't want to get a bunch of juice in here and then not have very many cucumbers in there to make pickles out of. I want to be sure I get it full of pickles first. Our cucumbers is going to be pickles. They're not quite pickled yet, but they will be shortly. And what we're going to do, we only need to leave about a 1/2 inch of head space for this. So, you know, where normally you need to leave a 1 inch on most of your stuff. The pickles only need a 1/2 inch head space. So once we get all that in there, then we're going to try to dip down in here and get us some of this juice and just put us some juice in it. Like I said, we want to fill it up to about a 1/2 inch head space. And we can see it whenever it comes up there. So we can get a 1/2 inch on it. That's what I like about this gauge here. It has the measurement on it, so you really don't have to work too hard at it. And you can see we're at about a 1/2 inch right there. Now we want to debubble. Definitely debubble this, because we got a lot of places for air to get trapped here. So we want to debubble good. Set our thing over there. Any pickles or cucumbers that we have sticking up, we want to try to get back down in that brine, because that brine is what's going to give them that flavor of the bread and butter pickles. And so we want them down to the brine there where they're setting in the brine good. And then if you want to check it by this, up here is 1 inch, 3/4 inch, and a 1/2 inch, and a 1/4 inch. So we want to go to the 1/2 inch, and you can see that we're just about on right the top of that is right on about a 1/2 inch there. So what we want to do, we're going to get us a paper towel, dip it in white vinegar. We're going to go around the rim really good of our jar, because that brine can be sticky. Want to go around it real good. We're going to take our little magnet here. We're going to pick us up a lid. We're going to center that lid on our jar. Get a band. We're going to put a band on. We're just going to go fingertip tight. And then we're going to go back in the canner. And that's what we're looking at right there. Put this one back in the canner. And we're going to get us another jar out. Dump our water out of it. We're going to slide this one over into that slot. Set it down there. And again, we're going to start filling it up with our cucumbers that we're making into pickles. We want to get it filled up with our cucumbers first, like I said, because if you don't fill it with your cucumbers first, your solid first, then you have a bunch of liquid in there, and when you go to trying to get enough cucumbers in there to get your jar good and full, then you're going to not have enough headspace room for your jars to seal like they're supposed to. So you always want to, if you're doing something like this where you're going to be putting a lot of solids in, then you want to try to get your solids in first and get them like you want them first. Then add your liquid in and debubble and stuff after that. And you can see we've got our solids right up there to right where we're going to be at about a 1/2 inch there. And so then we're going to take us and get us some of our liquid in. We just dip our liquid in. And we're going to bring it up to that 1/2 inch mark. Ooh, and we went over a little bit on that, but that's okay, because if you go over like it ain't no panic. Just get you a spoon and dip it out. Or we may just pick it up and just pour a little bit of this out of there. Since how we're right here. That's going to look pretty good right there. We're going to debubble. Always debubble. Because you don't want that air left in there. And then we're going to move our thing over there and we're going to check our head space again. See, we're sitting right on a 1/2 inch right there. That's where we want to be. So again, we're going to take our paper towel now that we dipped in vinegar. That's white vinegar, white distilled vinegar. We're going to take white, and we want to use vinegar in this because vinegar will cut anything off of there, any particles that are any sticky things, the sugar, or anything that got on the rim. It'll take and cut it off and make it turn loose there, and you can wipe it off. Put it center a lid, band on fingertip tight, back in the canner. And what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and finish jarring all these up, and we'll bring you back when we have them all in the canner. Okay, as you can see, we got 8 jars out of our pickles there, out of our cucumbers, 8 jars of bread and butter pickles. What we're going to do now, we got them in our water bath canner. We got at least 1 to 2 inches of water above the jars. We turn the burner up on high. We're going to cover it up. We're going to bring this to a full rolling boil. And when we get to that point, we'll bring you back then. Okay, we're at a full rolling boil now. As you can see under there, that's what we call a full rolling boil when we're water bath canning. So what we're going to do now, we're going to turn the burner down just a little bit. And we're going to set us a timer. Serious, set a timer 15 minutes. We're going to set a timer for 15 minutes. And let these go 15 minutes. Now we want to keep this full rolling boil going for that entire 15 minutes. If that boil stops, then we've got to start that 15-minute timer all over again. So we're going to go 15 minutes and we'll bring you back at that point. Okay, our timer's fixing to go off here. We got just a couple seconds left on it. And there it goes right there. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to cut our burner completely off. And since I can on the glass top stove and that heat stays on the electric stove real bad, I'm going to slide it over to right there. Now, as you know, water bath canning, we don't have to wait on the steam pressure to come down. We can just go ahead and take our lid off and let our water settle down. And we can go ahead and pull our jars out. You see the water settling down, how quick it'll settle down. We can go ahead and pull these jars out and start taking them back there and putting them on. Now, when you take your jars out of your canner, you always want to have you something to set them on. You don't want to just set them down on pure wood. You want to, because that wood, if it's the least bit cold, it will cause them jars to break sometimes and crack. So you always want to have you some type of cloth or something, a pad or something laying down there that you can put your jars on. And what we do, we just take these out and set them over on that thing. Now, something that's very, very important when you're taking your jars out, and I know I went over this before, but I like to just stress these points. Is you always want to bring your jar straight up out of your canner. Whether you're doing water bath canning or whether you're doing pressure canning, you always want to bring your jar straight up out of your canner. Don't tilt your jar over to one side. You see they got some water on top of them, but that water will dissipate. You don't want to tilt your jar over to one side and take a chance on some of that stickiness getting in under your ring there, in under your lid, because then it would cause it not to seal. And then you don't want to be done all that work for nothing. And so just let that water dissipate on its own. Don't worry about that water, because like I said, it'll dissipate and go away. It'll evaporate and be out of there. So we want to just come straight at it. You can see what they look like here. I'll hold one up there for you to look at. You can see the peppercorn in, and that's that water falling off of it when I turn it there. But hey, what we'll do, we'll let them sit here overnight, and then tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll check, take the bands off of them, check, make sure that they've all sealed like they're supposed to. I'll take and wipe them down with a wet cloth, and we'll put a label on them. Label them, bread and butter pickles, today's date, and we put them on the shelf. And that, as long as they stay sealed on the shelf, they'll be good for a year and a half or so. They'll be gone, way before they ever any chance of them being spoiled. But if you would, give the video a thumbs up, like, share, comment. Let us know what you think about the bread and butter pickles, if you've ever made any or whatever. But have something you want to see us do, give us a comment. Let us know what you'd like to see us do. We appreciate all that subscribe to our channel. Please do. It helps our channel a lot if you subscribe. We appreciate all of you that take time out of your day to watch our videos. That means a lot to each and every one of us here at Chisholm Trail 61. So just keep on keeping on. We'll keep on doing the videos. We'll be around. See you on the next one.